What's going on, people? This is Shad Harris, and today we are at the wonderful Waterside in downtown Norfolk. And today I'm sitting with my man Jarrell Williams of Nomarama. How are you doing, good brother?
Cold, man.
Yeah, it's freezing out here. It's a tad bit nippy, yeah?
I'm doing all right, though.
Especially about this water.
Yeah.
So
I came out here, I was watching the barges and the ferry go by. I think this stuff is cool.
Yeah, it's a dope vibe out here.
Yeah.
This is my first time being out here so early, but it's feel real serene and peaceful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very much so.
Yeah, but I wanted to speak with you because, you know, we did our interview probably about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And,
has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been about like
about
a year.
Yeah.
And for a while, I know you said you were looking to go full time because, you know, you had a job, because, you know, we all got responsibilities and stuff like that. But recently you hit me up and said, you know what, I'm full time.
Yeah.
So I kind of just wanted, like, this would be like a real quick video, just talking about where you at with that. Like, what was the process behind that? I mean, you don't really got to go deep into it, but, you know, the process behind, you know, leaving a job, but also, like, where you at now and what's next?
Yeah. So, and I always realize that, like, I've heard people talk about if you want to build and everything, you gotta quit your job and all this and that. But like you said, having responsibilities, it just wasn't in my cards at the time. So it just got to a point where working with this other agency, things just weren't clicking, things weren't working out. I saw the writing on the wall before it happened, and I'm a veteran to this layoff shit. I saw it happen.
How many jobs have you been laid off?
This is, I think, 3 or 4, dog, in the last 5 years. Maybe even a little bit longer than that. But so I was working with this agency. They brought me on. Long story short, we were butting heads on how to market the business and get more momentum going for the business. They weren't trying to break out of their traditional ways. And I saw the writing on the wall. We weren't hitting our numbers. The whole team wasn't hitting numbers. So one morning I had a phone call and heard they laid off half the company. Before this happened, I knew in my mind that the start of the new year I was going to go full time anyway. So
it's crazy because probably about 3 or 4 days, we've talked about this before. Like 3 or 4 days before that, we had a panel event that we were on. And you were literally just saying, like, you know what, the first of the year I'm gonna leave. And then like 3 or 4 days later, you hit me like, yo, I'm out here. Yeah,
I had told a class at ODU the same thing. I was like, I mean, you know, if you got a full-time job, it helps you float this and this and that, but I'm planning on going full-time. And that I'm big on speaking things into existence. And
you definitely did. You 100% did.
And it happened, and I had to take a step back, and, you know, I had that minor freak out for a little bit, but I reminded myself that this is what I wanted.
So what was the freak out, though? I've been there as well.
You know, responsibilities. You know, I got to pay this, I got to pay that. And I thought about it. And my man Ski from Got Fish was like, and my dad also has told me this for years and just didn't click until recently, was like, we all have a bottom line. You know, we can't look at it as this gigantic, daunting number every day. It's like, what do you have to make? Then you break it down by week, break it down by day, and make it a little bit more granular so it's not as big of a bite to take out.
So I feel that way definitely because sometimes we look at what's that monthly number. It might be like, what, I need to make
like $2,000.
$2,000 a month. But you say, you know what? If I have to make about $500 a month. You're like, all right, well, you know, that's a little bit more doable. What I got to do to make $500 a month?
Right.
And that doesn't seem so daunting and just saying 2,000.
And the thing that hit me the hardest was my brother. You may have seen it. He posted a status and was like, you ever take a step back and calculate your net income? After all your bills, after all your commuting, after all the shit you go through at work, and break it down to what you make a day. And I did the math. I was bringing in $100 a day, dealing with all the stress, all the bullshit. And I'm like, I can make more money, way more money than that, doing what I love doing. I know that. I mean, it's going to be a build process, but I know I can make more money than that a day. And that's when it like really flipped the switch in my head. I was like, nah, this ain't going to work out. And at that point in time, I was up to about 2 a.m. that night, budgeting and figuring out what services I could provide and events I could put together. And I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work out. January 2020, I'm gone. And again, it happened a little bit quicker than I wanted it to, but at the same time, it's what I wanted. So,
okay.
you know.
So I know I ask you this all the time, and I know what you do, but for the people that don't know, I guess this is your chance to kind of say this is what you do now.
Yeah, so Nomarama is, I'm a hodgepodge. Yeah. I do a lot. So similar to yourself, not as in-depth as far as like videography work, but I do content creation. Right. I'm a content creator. I do events, social media marketing, social media management, consulting, and kind of like a Swiss Army knife of things. Right. So whatever, if I can go into a consulting session and I can sit down with a client and I can pick up on things, I'm like, yo, we can help you with that. Yeah. I can help you with that. And if it branches off to something different, I'm going that route. Okay. And that was big for me when I started Nomarama, because initially it was going to be just like the burger club. Yeah. And I recognized early that if I did that, I was going to pigeonhole myself just to burgers. Sure. So with the way I built the brand, it was important for me to be able to maneuver around and just, I got a lot of interest. So be able to put myself in things that I like to do. And if I'm good at it and I can help build somebody up on something else, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
So just to kind of give, value to the people who might be watching this, who might own a restaurant, or they might, manage a restaurant or want to get into that. What do you feel like most restaurants or restaurants owners, or, whatever the case may be, mess up with when it comes to getting themselves out there?
Yeah, so I think we touched on this. Our first interview was like marketing.
Right.
They automatically think that they have to pay thousands of dollars to like a newspaper or like an outside entity that has no investment in who they are, and trust them to bring them clients and clientele. When if they just trust themselves and trust their process, they'll be amazed at what they can actually materialize for themselves. Sure. So we're big on social media, so tapping into their core product and then trying to amass their audience themselves first. And then over time, if they need the assistance, then reach out to somebody who's a professional in that space. Right. So like we were just talking about before the cameras, like in this area, I've recognized it's a little bit slower comings to where people today still think that Facebook and Instagram are a fad.
Which I don't get that.
Dude,
I don't get that at all.
There are companies spending millions of dollars on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And when I approach certain restaurants,
a couple thousand myself.
Yeah. And when I approach restaurants, they're kind of like Facebook, Instagram, like, nah, I'm gonna put it in a magazine. I'm like, you go ahead and dump $2,500 into a magazine ad that is this big,
and nothing's gonna happen.
And nothing will happen. There's no conversion there.
So what suggestions would you give for people who have restaurants to kind of get themselves out there?
If you have capacity, take pictures of your food and just post it. That's one way to start.
And don't put filters on your photos.
No filters. Make sure you get good angles. Yeah. You get somebody that actually knows a little bit about photography. I mean, everybody has a good angle shot or whatever. We all have iPhones and Androids, so I'm big on. That's right, and it's just that simple. It's that simple. And if any of my restaurants that I've approached in the past just started with that little nugget of knowledge, it'd
help them out so much.
Exponentially. Exponentially. That's the biggest first thing I always tell people. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so. Before we wrap this up, what's next for you?
Yeah, so we got the 5th annual coming up. I hope we can make it out to that. 5th annual slider competition. I was telling you before the cameras came on, I don't want to speak too much on it, but I got 2 shows right now that I'm developing. Got to put some pieces behind that. And then for 2020, it's a big plan of mine to really boost my newsletter subscribers. Okay. So we're developing smaller, more intimate events that are going to be only available to those who are subscribers to our newsletter. So more experiences. You pay a flat fee for an example, like a dinner plus experience plus something else, and it's 10, 15 ticket max kind of thing. So
okay. All right, cool. Well, I definitely appreciate you sitting down.
Yeah, man, appreciate you, no doubt.
Yeah. Just so, where can people find you at, man?
Same thing, Nomarama, Nomarama. You can Google it, Instagram, Twitter. Not as popping on Twitter, but I be tweeting every now and then.
Twitter is a nasty world, dude.
Yeah. There's no filter there at all.
No filter. It's a nasty community.
Yeah, and then they don't hold back.
Yeah.
So we got our the website is getting revamped right now. Okay. So Nomarama.com, that should be revamped and re-released hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so. Look out for YouTube. We got more YouTube content coming, IGTV content, and that, like I was saying, just Content.
That's the name of the game.
That's it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
We are out.